Okay, sit yourself onto your left and then just come into a good cross-leg position. Just have a little wiggle about. Just make sure that you're feeling evenly positioned, evenly balanced on the seat bones. So just spend a moment. Sometimes it's difficult to establish that at first. So just acknowledge, just have a little feel around and acknowledge. Hold on to your knees and lift up into the chest. Elevate the heart area upwards. Drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Look down at the floor. Just look at something that isn't moving. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Listening to the breath. Release your knees. Bring your hands into Namaste, pressing the palms firmly together, lengthening from the armpits into the elbows into the heels of the hands, and the heels of the hands into the fingertips. Close your eyes if you haven't done. Focus on bringing the breath in through the nose if you can, down into the bottom of the lungs and up to the top. So fill the bottom of the lungs first, and then fill the lungs as though you're filling a jug with water. Breathing evenly into both lungs, evenly out of both lungs. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest, just feeling the stretch at the back of the neck, making contact between the chest and the chin, lifting the chest up to meet the chin. Drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Just spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. And then gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees as you hold on to that feeling of abundance around the heart area, just acknowledging that feeling of abundance that you create through just drawing your attention into things in your life that bring you positive energy. And then raise your head, allowing your eyes to softly open. Just hold onto your knees and lift up into the chest, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. We can do a little bit of alternate nostril breathing. So remember, you close one nostril, so we'll start with the right nostril, and then through the left nostril you breathe out quite forcefully, and then in. You might need a tissue handy, and then you cover over the other nostril with your ring finger, and then out, and then in, and then we'll do that 10 times. So whenever you're ready, just take some normal breaths for the moment. Some normal inhalations, normal exhalations. Just let the breath be gentle. So remember, you can breathe in and out with, some like more force than you would typically breathe. So just bring your hand to your forehead, your right hand to your forehead, and then take a normal inhalation, cover the nostril, and then exhale and inhale, and then swap. Just do it at your own rate, and then we'll do 10 of those. And then finish with an out breath, just releasing both nostrils, and then bringing the breath back to a normal rhythm. Just hold on to your knees, lift up into the chest, elevating your heart area upwards and drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Draw the chin forwards, and with an exhalation, down to meet the chin. So bring the chin up to meet the chest, but make good contact if you can. Stretching the shoulders away from the ears, down away from the ceiling, so that you intensify the stretch at the back of the neck. Take a deep inhalation, and then with the following exhalation, bring the chin up to meet the ceiling. Stretching out the front of the neck, drawing the shoulders away from the ear. Just breathe normally for a few moments. And then take a deep inhalation, and then bring the chin forwards and down to meet the chest with the out breath. Again, just stretching out the back of the neck. Take a deep inhalation, and then draw the chin up to meet the ceiling. And then on an out breath, just bring the head back level. Just feel the energy around the neck and the head. Take a deep inhalation through the nose, And then right ear down to the right shoulder, but keeping the shoulder away from the ear, just stretching out that left side of the neck. Take a deep inhalation, and on the exhalation come back to the center, keeping the neck long. Bring the left ear to the left shoulder. So keeping the shoulders down, feeling that the seat bones feel evenly placed, and if they don't, just adjust the position of the torso between the two hips. Just feeling that stretch at the right side of the neck. Take a deep inhalation, and with the following exhalation come back to the center and over to the right again. Just keeping the neck long as you extend over, just in the position of the torso to maintain levelness at the hips. And take a deep inhalation, come back to the center and over to the left. And then gently come back to the center. Just have your head, your chest raised upwards, have your chin parallel with the floor, and then with an out breath, just bring the chin over to the right side, just really gently, not trying to force it across, just turning the chin over to that right shoulder, keeping the head lifted. And then come with an out breath, come back to the center, and then draw the chin over to the left shoulder, keeping the head lifted. And then with an out breath, come back to the center, just again over to the right side. And then just gently back to the left. And then come back to the center. Again, just feel that energy around the head and the neck. Lift the heart area up to the ceiling. Take a deep inhalation. And then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across, keeping your head and your neck still this time, turning the abdomen and the ribs and the shoulders, just looking forwards with your chin between the chest. So your chin in line with your collarbone, using your out breath to turn a little more deeply. And then come back to the center, hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest, drawing your shoulders down, take a deep inhalation, and then turn to the left from the abdomen and the ribs and the shoulders. through the nose. Just gauging your balance. And then come back to the centre. Just come off your lift, but stay in cross legs, and then get a couple of blocks either side of your hips for sukhasana. So just hold on to your knees, lift up into the chest, and then reach underneath the right knee, and then bring your right elbow down onto the block. Now at this stage it might feel like all of your weight drops onto that right seat bone. So push that right elbow firmly into the block and then lengthen across into that left seat bone. So you place it really firmly down on the floor. Turn the chest up to face the ceiling and then reach up and over, looking underneath the armpit. Pushing the elbow into the floor, stretching that left buttock bone across from the right elbow. And then come back to the centre. Just hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest. Just bend your elbow, your left elbow, bring the elbow onto the block, reach underneath the left knee. Push that elbow into the knee, push that elbow into the block, and then lengthen across into that right seat bone so that you bring the hips more level. With the hand on the hip, turn the chest up to face the ceiling, and then reach up and over, working to maintain that connection, that firm connection between the right seat bone and the floor. Using that left elbow to assist. Stretching out along that right side of the torso. And then come back to the centre. Hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Just move the blocks out of the way, come onto your knees and up into dog down. So your hands as wide apart as the mat, spread in the fingers, turn your toes under, have your feet as wide apart as the mat, and then come up into dog down. Just breathe in through the nose, out through the nose, just Stretching yourself out, hitting the fronts of the legs through to the backs of the legs, lifting the kneecaps, lifting the tailbone. Just come down onto your knees and then sit back on your heels for a moment. Lift up into the chest, just feeling your shins connecting to the ground, consciously pressing them into the ground. Lifting up into the chest. Drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. So at this stage, have the big toes together and the knees apart. And then walk your hands behind you so that the hands come underneath your shoulders when you come back. Have the fingers pointing towards your knees. Push the heels of the hands into the floor and lift from the wrists and up into the armpits. And then turn the tailbone in, draw the sacrum away from the lumbar, tailbone up towards the ceiling, and then lift the seat bones off the floor. If you've got a bad back, then just stay with your seat sitting back on your heels, turning the tailbone in, lengthening the sacrum away from the heels, lifting up into the chest, and if you can, stretching your head back. Lifting from the wrists into the armpits to lift the chest. And then bring the seat bones back down. Come onto the fingertips, come back to the centre, lengthening the shoulders down, lengthening the neck up. Just feeling that energy that you are releasing around the torso and the shoulders and the neck and the head and the energy within the legs. Come back onto all fours, have your hands wide. Again, turn the toes under, have the feet wide again, so as wide apart as the mat preferably. And then come back up into dog down. Just let the back of your neck be soft. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath, lifting the legs from the heels up into the hips, pushing the fronts of the legs through to the backs of the legs, turning the fronts of the legs inwards, drawing the heels apart. And then step your feet forwards and then come up into the standing position. Just come into Tadasana. Just lifting up into the chest, stretching your shoulders down to the floor, stretching the hands down to the floor, lengthening into the neck. Stretch your arms out in front, interlock the fingers right into the webbing of the palms, and then turn the palms all the way out. Don't worry about cracks and pops, and then raise your arms over your head, squeezing the outer elbows in, drawing the shoulders down away from your ears. Just listen to the body. Observe how this opens up across the diaphragm, around the lower side ribs, around the abdominal walls, You suddenly make space. Breathe into those freshly opened areas. Lift your toes to sharpen the action of the legs. Hit your shins back so that your weight is in your heel. Just release your arms. Swap the interlock of the fingers so that the other index finger is on the top of the stack. And then stretch your arms out. Raise your arms over your head, baddangulyasana, shoulders down, legs back, weight in your heels. Just feel where you are opening up the energy of the torso. Continue to breathe from the bottom of the lungs to the top. Emptying the lungs from the top to the bottom. And then release your arms. And turn the palms all the way out. Just breathe in even deep inhalations and exhalations, listening to the breath. Bring your arms out nice and wide in toward your chest, and then step or jump your feet apart. Stretching your arms out. Turn your left toes in slightly and your right leg and foot all the way out, bringing the chest to face the front, spreading the toes, bringing your weight onto the outside edge of the left foot, and then reach down, find the shin, turn the chest up to face the ceiling. If there's tension in your neck, then look forwards or down. It's always useful to look down to help establish your alignment, especially the position of that front leg buttock bone. Is it sticking out towards the wall behind you, or can you squeeze it forwards, resisting that with the back leg, pushing that back leg towards the back of the room for stability? Turn the abdomen up to face the ceiling, look up if you can, breathing in and out through the nose. Reach up, come back to the center, swap your feet around, turn your right toes in, your left leg and foot all the way out. Just having a quick glance, making sure that your feet are in the appropriate alignment. Lift up into the chest. And then slowly come down into the other side. So don't forget that back leg. Keep it active. Keep the front leg buttock bone pushing forwards or squeezing forwards. Keep the abdomen and the chest rising up to the ceiling. Again, have a look down at the foot. It's a really good way just to gauge your alignment. And then look upwards. And then from here, we're going to go down into trikonasana, into dog down, sorry. But if if you don't like going from dog down from trikonasana, come out of trikonasana like the normal way, and then step or jump the feet apart, back together, then come down into dog down. Otherwise, bring that top hand down onto the big toe side of the front foot, bring the other hand onto the little toe side of the front foot, and then step yourself back into Adho Svanasana. Let your head and down, let the back of your neck be soft. Just feel your balance through the seat bones. Activating the legs and the arms evenly. Is there even activation on the left side and the right side? Is there even activation between the arms and the legs? Just go inside to feel the level of exertion. And then come down, just sit back on your heels, lift up into the chest, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Just feel the energy that you have brought into the body, that feeling of energy that almost tingles in the skin, in the flesh, making the physical body feel consciously lighter. And forwards, hinging at the hips into Adho virasana, pushing the hands deeply into the floor, keeping the seat bones down and bringing the forehead down. Keeping the neck soft, turning the crease of the elbows towards each other and up towards the ceiling so that you really broaden the neck region, releasing around the neck. So turning the inner elbows up to face the ceiling. Okay, push your hands into the floor and then sit yourself up, just lifting up into the chest, just observing your energy. Just sit yourself directly onto the floor in cross legs, or you can sit on a lift if you need to. So you sit on a lift if you feel that you sink in the chest and you can't lift the front chest. So in half padmasana or cross legs swastikasana, hold onto your knees. Just lift up into the chest, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Lifting the heart area upwards, broadening the chest. Bring your chin forwards and down to meet the chest. Jalandhara bandha. And then lift the anal sphincter up towards the diaphragm region for Mula bandha. And then observe your breath as you inhale from the bottom of the lungs to the top. And empty from the top to the bottom. Just observing that sensation of filling the lungs and emptying them. As you inhale from the bottom to the top, just allow the energy of your breath to overflow into the arms and into the chest and into the legs. And then gently release Mula Bandha, release Jalandhara Bandha, and then raise your head. Allow your eyes to reopen if you're closing them. Lift up into the chest, just observe the energy that you have released through your practice so far. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Okay, we're going to do a restorative pose. Just not for as long as a normal restorative pose, but what you need is a blanket. So you fold. So the blanket that you normally have for your head, maybe you fold it like that. So you unfold it and then unfold it again. So it's this long folded blanket. And then you're going to fold the blanket down the middle. And then fold the blanket down the middle again. So you've got this kind of long, quite fat little kind of rolled up bolster. So you've got that there. If you've got hemming on the blanket, then have that at the head end. So this is the kind of the leg end, this is the head end. So have that on the head end because you don't want that in your back. And then you'll need a bolster for your knees. If you haven't got a bolster, you can just use some cushions. So you can have a bolster for underneath your knees. And then you sit close to the little folded, rolled up blanket, not right on top of it. You just maybe kind of an inch between the seat bones and the blanket. And then you're going to push your elbows into the floor with the bolster underneath your knees, and then lengthen your spine along that straight line of the blanket. And then you get the end, the head end, and then roll it up like a Swiss roll so that you've got support for your head. So just observe the tailbone needs to be off the end of the blanket, the sacrum needs to be effectively off the end of the blanket. So just give yourself a little while to just really adjust into the pose, and then just experiment with where you put the bolster. If you put the bolster underneath your knees, see how that feels. If you put it underneath your thighs, see how that feels. Put it underneath the calves, see how that feels. You effectively want the bolster to be in the right place so that it feels as though your spine is being lengthened along that folded blanket. When you've found your appropriate position, then just relax into the pose. If you can't get your blanket right, just lay down on the floor with the bolster underneath your knees. So this is a deeply energizing pose. I want you to just relax into the pose now, rather than extending consciously. Just find the right position for you and then relax. Just releasing into the ground. Just enjoying the silence of your own breath. So when I say silence, I don't mean total silence, just the sensation of hearing very little but your own breath and the calm that brings to the body and the mind. So consciously release the arms and the legs, unhooking the arms so they become heavy on the floor. Just letting the legs completely rely on the bolster. So this restorative spinal lengthening pose gives the impression of the spine being stretched out. Spending some time in relaxation is incredibly valuable for the body, incredibly valuable for the mind, for your mental health, for your energy. When you're ready to bring yourself out of the pose, just wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, bringing yourself back into this spinal lengthening pose. And then bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster, and then gently roll yourself onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two, and then straighten out the top leg. Just coming to cross legs. Just observe the energy that you released around the spine. Good positive energy. And then just unfold your blanket. And then just fold it up for your pillow shape. And then you can keep the bolster underneath your knees, just bring yourself down along the floor. With the bolster underneath your knees, the blanket underneath your head. And just allow yourself to consciously release into the floor. Letting go of the muscles of the arms and the legs. Unhooking the muscles so you allow one turn to make the body heavy. But from the other, you observe that feeling of deep lightness rising from the bones, filling the muscles with effervescent lightness and energy. That energy radiating into the muscles and into the organs. Into the organs and the flesh and skin. And then when you're ready, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. Just bringing your consciousness back into the physical body. Bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster, have your knees together, your feet apart. Just resting your back into the floor. So hopefully you feel like you've really grounded your energy. Come on to your right side, just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position, just a final cross legs with your hand in the masti, just a final spinal lift. Drawing your breath down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Just be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you've lifted your energy. Give yourself good, positive energy to put into your day. So thank you very much for joining me.